I'm just imagining this, so shut the hell up.
It tells you something about your state of mind, don't it?
The year after that, he filmed a scene from Sin City to pay back his favor from Robert Rodriguez.
You better stop. You're making him mad.
Whatever you say.
Got the bouncing headlights, fanning out.
It was Quentin's first and last experience working with digital cameras.
Hey, let's have a big thank you and round of applause to our guest director today.
Special guest director.
The director is known for his faithfulness to film. And when asked how he felt about working with digital media, he always answered like this.
I think it's the death keel. I think it's the death rattle. Yeah, I do. And I also have even another whole aspect about it. I've always believed in the magic of movies.
Yeah.
And to me, the magic of movies is connected to 35 millimeter. Because everyone thinks, you can't help but think, that when you're filming something on film, that you're recording movement. You're not recording movement. You are just taking a series of still pictures. There's no movement in movies at all. They are still pictures. But when shown at 24 frames a second, through a light bulb, it creates the illusion of movement. So thus, as opposed to a recording device, when you're watching a movie, a film print, you are watching an illusion. And to me, that illusion is connected to the magic of movies.
In 2005, in one of his interviews, Quentin let slip that he loved the show CSI. The producers of the show contacted him immediately and asked him to write and direct the final episodes of the 5th season, and Quentin gladly agreed.
Son of a bitch. He's screwing with us.
Afterward, Quentin returned to Austin. There, he presented the film Hostel by Eli Roth, which he had produced.
Now speak. What the fuck do you want me to say?
American.
At the same time, Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez were concocting a new project. I would go to Quentin's house, and he'd screen old trailers from the 70s.
Kiss the girls and make them die.
Like Vanishing Point, Rolling Thunder, some sexploitation and zombie stuff. Then he'd play a feature, all scratched up with missing reels and things. Then more trailers in a second feature.
He hasn't a 00 number, but he lives a doubly dangerous life.
It's a great experience to watch movies this way.
A cosmic nightmare that sends you into the incredible, berserk world of Dream Slime!
I told Quentin, I always wanted to do a double feature. Hey, why don't you direct one and I'll do the other? And he replied, and we've got to call it Grindhouse.
Planet Terror and Death Proof. Only at the Grindhouse.
They chose two simple stories for the opening pictures, neither of which they had originally planned to film. The first part became Planet Terror, which Robert Rodriguez was in charge of, and the second, Tarantino's Death Proof. The idea, like the title, like the film, came to Tarantino out of fear of getting in an accident like this. The two parts of Grindhouse were shot at the same time, which allowed the directors to constantly bounce ideas off each other and share insights. The filming lasted from September to December of 2006. Interestingly, this was the first and last film in Quentin's career when he personally operated the camera. Maybe that's why there are so many feet.
My key. Here they are.
Later, the directors combined their pictures and added a few fake trailers. These trailers were directed by their friends, Eli Roth,
Thanksgiving,
Edgar Wright,
Don't. If you are thinking of seeing this film alone, don't.
and Rob Zombie.
Werewolf Women of the SS.
Rodriguez made another one, but later Machete actually became a real movie.
Machete.
Also, because of the double feature aspect, large pieces of the dialogue were cut and most of the scenes were shortened. But the main difference between the two versions of the film was the private dance scene and the accident that followed. I really enjoy the fact that if you count the minutes, it actually hasn't changed that much. But it has changed things 180 degrees emotionally, because something as simple as showing that stuntman Mike is stalking the girls outside the restaurant. You actually see the pictures of the girls, and you know he's the villain. You know he's been there, and you still don't believe. That's what I love, the way the tone changes between the two movies. And I'm very proud of what I was able to do. That while changing very little. When he finished editing, Tarantino described Death Proof as, "Death Proof has got to be the worst movie I've ever made. And for a left-handed movie, that wasn't so bad, alright? So if that's the worst I ever get, I'm good."
Love that philosophy.
The film was released in April of 2007, and from the beginning faced a small problem, because most of the audience simply didn't know what a double feature was. They would start to leave the theater right after Planet Terror. However, the theater staff quickly remedied the situation by explaining to every person who tried to walk out that there was another movie in store. Unfortunately, this didn't help Grindhouse much. The director's idea failed in the States, and the distributors canceled similar showings in Great Britain. Instead, they released the films the way they would in countries which never had double features, as part of their cinema culture. First, they would release Death Proof, and then Planet Terror a month later. Although the director's idea flopped in the end, each picture broke even and received wonderful reviews, inasmuch as that is possible for B-movies.
Post time!
Do you like our work? Let us know with your like and comment. Push that subscribe button and share with your friends. If you want to support the project financially, become our sponsor on Patreon or YouTube sponsorship. Thank you.